All right, y'all, what's going on? It is your boy Easy Bake Oven. What's up, y'all? So today it's a little different, all right? Now, yeah, I used to hear ads run through my stuff for other people. All right, this is probably the first real time the ad is for me. All right, so PSA, Prodigy Sport Advantage Stations, has expanded far beyond just the podcast. It is now a writing service, all right? And at that, a ghostwriting service. So we do it anonymously and take care of your needs, all right? Homework assistant, product and profile descriptions, grant writing, resumes, cover letters, templates, books, ghostwriter book too. Anything you can think of, articles, all that good stuff. PSA, the Ghostwriter Solution, can do it. So go over to PSAthepodcast.com and you can see all the services there with all their descriptions, okay, because I know I missed some. And also you can reach out to me at theprodigyperspective@gmail.com and we can take care of all of that for you too. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Another week, another episode at the trap. I'm going back to the studio soon. So be prepared for that. But I'm gonna keep the virtual episodes going because we're doing numbers on TikTok and YouTube. And you're getting trolled, you're doing something right. But I'm thankful because when I got trolled, I wasn't, and this goes to show you that God allows things to happen at the right time. Because if I would have got trolled probably like 2 years ago, I'd be like trying to like go back and forth with everybody. Now when people be trying to come in my net, I just be like, I'll put like the laughing emojis or I just don't respond. And I'm at peace doing it. So those are small victories. You got to do that. So I had to start the episode off with a small victory. All right. So this episode, y'all, it's kind of a nice segue transition to today's episode. As us young people, I feel like sometimes we get caught up in just life itself and just a bunch of different things. But I think we are entitled to our opinions and entitled to do not what we want, but in a sense of ensuring that we stand on what we say and what we do. Now, there are good sides of that and bad sides. So we're going to get into that. But first, let me get into the meme for the week. This week's meme reads, "In this season, I'm not backing down from anything I did or said. I don't care what the consequences are." Now, if you know me, this is not a season. It's a lifestyle, if you know me for real. So, but I want to make sure that people are kind of living that way. And in general, and of course, we're going to back it up with a lot of different things this week. So the inspirations first comes from the phrase, the infamous GIF, one of them housewives. It was like, "I said what I said." Like, hey, if people jump you afterwards, hey, just own it. I'd rather you own it and then apologize later, because you can do that too, than lie about it. All right. Proverbs 10:9, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, whoever takes crooked paths be found out." I'll get more into that later. And a quote by David Gaider that says, "A truth will always remain a truth, even if only one person is claiming for it and no one is up to believe it." So keep that in mind. You could be telling the truth just because if 20 people are thinking you lying. All right. Because, people be lying. Y'all friends be lying. All right, y'all. So let's get into the next segment, which is happy hour. All right. So I'm going to put myself on blast for this happy hour. All right. So I'm finna take it back. Everybody knows I'm 29 now. Happy birthday to me. And I'm finna tell a story of literally over 10 years ago. I'm not going to say where it was. I'm just going to say what happened. So I had heard something about somebody I was cool with. Well, we really wasn't cool. We just kind of was around each other. And about this girl I knew. And basically that she had, got to keep it clean, performed oral sex on bro. So I had heard it and I ain't think nothing of it, but I had told my friend. I'm telling y'all the whole story, so just listen. So I had told my homegirl, just like, "Oh yeah, she did that to so-and-so." Didn't think nothing of it. So we get over to the homegirl house. I don't know when this was, and then it was a group of us all over there. And so she's like, "Izzy, tell everybody what you heard." So I had just, me being an idiot, I had said, "Yeah, I heard woo woo woo." Didn't think nothing of it, because that's what people do, right? So I walk in maybe 2 days later and I see the girl who I said about. She said, "Hey Izzy," I said, "What's up?" She was like, "Can I talk to you about something?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She said, so did you tell somebody that I gave head so and so? I said, yeah, I did. And she was just like, well, why would you do that? And even if I did, she said, I didn't do it. Even if I did, is that your business to tell? I said, you know what? I was just talking really. I said, as far as when I repeated, I said, I shouldn't have said it. And I apologize for that because I shouldn't have said, I shouldn't have said that. I could have had that better. She's like, okay, well, I appreciate your honesty and thank you for being honest. After that, me and her was like, dummy cool. So the moral of that quick story is just tell the truth because, it was no point in lying because it was a group full of people. Now watch this. First of all, I'm not trying to justify what I did was right because it wasn't. But first, the friend was messy because why would you ask me to repeat that in front of a group of people? Because my logic was it was just some neck. Everybody do that, right? So I didn't think nothing of it. But two, so she was being messy but also, let's keep it 100, male or female. And these couples do this the most. If you didn't heard something 9 times out of 10, whether you a close friend or it's your girl or it's your dude, whatever, you're going to repeat something that you heard. So if this is somebody you consider a close friend, you're going to, like, people do that. So let's not act like, I got the heat in this situation. But really, you know how they be on Twitter and they be like the villain, the real villain. Really, it was my homegirl that was the real villain, if we really look at it in the grand scheme of things. That leads to my next thing where I talk about just people that be lying. I just hate people that's always lying. I can't be friends with a liar. I've been friends with liars in the past, and if they do something, you can't ask them if they did it because they're going to lie. They can't take the heat, you know what I mean? And I'm just all for just keeping it as honest as possible, even if, like, people come at your neck like they do with me. And I'm going to get some more examples of that later on, and they're going to probably keep doing it. That's just how I go. But I stand on what I said. You cannot cancel me because you did not put me on. And that's the main thing. You maybe can stop dealing with me, and that's cool. That's fine. But they always come back. But what I hate is when people come back, especially when it comes to me, they make it seem like I reached out and tried to reconcile with them. Hold on, buddy, you're lying because you tried to fix it with me. And then they lie and be like, yeah, Izzy reached out. You're a liar. I didn't even talk to you. Like, you know how some people, say, for instance, like you into it with somebody, y'all not talking at the moment. Y'all walk at each other, not talking. And then say, for instance, they start like, doing they fixes, whether it's drugs or alcohol. And they get high drunk and all of a sudden they want to be friendly. I still wouldn't say nothing, even if I would, but that's just me. Everybody else can't control themselves, but whatever. Last thing for the happy hour. 4th of July is in a few days. Are y'all celebrating? I remember back in the day in St. Louis, like, it go to the riverfront, and everybody used to be having on their camo shorts with their American flag tanks. I remember. I ain't forget. I remember. But what was I going to say? Everybody said they're not celebrating, but then they eating. But can you really count eating as celebrating though? I don't know. Like if you barbecuing or grilling a hot dog or something, can you really count that? I don't really think you can. I don't know. Because then if that's the case, are you going to celebrate Thanksgiving? So it's like you can't eat on either day. I'm going to eat. You can call me a coon. You can call me a slave. I don't care. I'm going to eat a burnt hot dog. I don't even eat hot dogs, but I'm going to eat it that day. And I'm going to eat everything that's offered. I don't care. Call me what you want because I'm not finna starve and I'm not finna try to prove a point because it don't matter to me as far as the eating part. Now, I'm not going to go out here and say happy 4th of July and wave a flag, but, still. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I really would like to hear y'all's take on that. But I'm getting to rambling. So I have a guest today, y'all, and he's about to drop a lot of knowledge. So yeah, let me go ahead and introduce him. Let him tell everybody about himself. All right, my boy, what's going on?
What up? What up? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good. I'm chilling. What you got going?
Man, over here trying to get to it, man. Was just in the middle of going through some videos from one of my mentorships, just learning right before I got on here.
He ain't even said his name, y'all, and he telling y'all what he doing. All right, see, that's
Yeah,
what we love to see. Well, look, we
yeah.
love to see it. All right, now tell the people, for my visual people, tell the people your name, where you from, and then where you live.
Most definitely. So my name is Mike Williams. I go by Mikey Pearlz. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I also live in St. Louis, Missouri currently, but I've been all around the country.
All right. Now, what do you do for a living so everybody can know?
So right now I run a couple different businesses. My jewelry business, which is pretty cool because I don't really do that much promotion. I do a lot of custom pieces, so whether it's like necklaces, rings, watches, stuff like that. And then outside of that, I also do real estate. And real estate really just been like my main focus, just because I really want to get into having a lot of passive income to where I ain't got to wake up and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like the real goal for me is freedom and all of this.
Okay. All right. Now, I did my research and I know we're going to get more into it later on, but I know you have some stuff with the cannabis industry, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I first got into legal cannabis back in 2016 when I lived up in Detroit. So I was growing under like a caregiver type program that they had out there. It's the same thing that we got out here in Missouri on the medical scene. And so that was pretty much like my entry, man. And then outside of that, my mom ended up opening the first black-owned dispensary in St. Louis. So really, actually, in the whole state of Missouri. And so that's what actually brought me back to St. Louis. And then now I got just basically a lot of experience on the retail side as well.
And see, that's funny because my next question was going to be, what was your family's reaction to you getting into the weed industry? But his mama, the one that opened the dispensary.
Man, and here go the craziest part though. So like I've been around it for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like I was first around it when I was like 16. So my mom figured out I was smoking like right as I graduated high school. It's crazy how it all happened. And then so she always kind of didn't like my relationship with the plant because I ended up dropping out of college, and to this day she probably just like, well, I feel like you did it because of the weed. I'm just like, man, it's crazy how the tables turn.
No, for sure. And we're going to get
Yeah.
into that story later because I'm going to grill you about that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to say a few words. And I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. There is no right or wrong answer. You ready?
Most definitely.
All right. When you hear the word truth, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Fact.
When you hear the word integrity, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Keeping it real at all times.
When you hear the word consequence, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Necessary.
And when you hear the word consequence, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Necessary. That was the same one you just asked me.
Oh, back down. My bad.
Oh, back down? Never.
All right. So, got some definitions. So, the first one is truth. That is which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. So, you was right on the money with that. Then integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. Consequence, a result or effect of an action or condition. And then back down, withdraw a claim or assertion in the face of opposition. All right. So he's pretty good with the words, people, as we see. All right. So now let's move into the next segment real quick, which is, what does this have to do with mental health? And as we always know, because of the haters that would be like, what does it have to do with mental health? Well, we made a segment for it. All right. So how have you leveraged self-education and mentorships in your entrepreneurial journey?
I mean, honestly, what I figured out very quickly is, man, you can either try to figure out everything on your own, which is going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of time. And what I quickly realized was, it's like, man, okay, if somebody got a mentorship over here that they might be charging $5,000 from, right? But I can take this knowledge, apply it to my life, apply it to my businesses, and go in 20x, 30x, however much X I want to do. And it's like it makes the most sense, you know what I'm saying? Rather than me taking all these years, bumping my head, I'd rather learn from somebody that already made the mistakes for me.
Okay, so that's, I gotta repeat that for the people. So basically, instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, it's too many research, too many resources out here, and too many people that have done it already. So why reinvent the wheel if people have already done it? And honestly, we live in a time where I feel like people have done this stuff for us, and that's with anything you're trying to do. Like they got books on them, they got the YouTube University, of course, you know, it's classes in colleges and just in other stuff. So there's so many ways you can go with that. So real quick, can you then share to me some key lessons that you've learned from mentors, and how that has contributed to your growth as an entrepreneur. Maybe like 2 or 3 key lessons you didn't learn.
Probably the first key lesson is organization. I feel like if you don't have your plan organized, whether it be on paper, whether it be in a planner, whether it be on a whiteboard, like you really need to see like what are the correct steps that you need to take. Because other than that, what I feel like happens is a lot of times people will say that they want to get something done, but unless you really measuring you getting that thing done, it's not actually gonna happen. And so a lot of time will go by and you just feel like you're busy, but you're not being productive. You know what I'm saying? Which that's a big difference. Like you could be busy all the time and then you be looking like, damn, I'm not really making any progress. So
Right.
I think that's the main thing, being organized. And then outside of that, consistency too. I feel like it's one of those things where it's super easy to say like, bro, do this every single day and you're going to be able to win. But it's like, if you feel like you need inspiration to do something every single day, you're going to be behind the ball. Like you just need to know like, hey, this needs to get done. The same way that you need to wake up and brush your teeth every single morning, it's certain things that when you want to achieve something in life, you just got to put that work in every single day.
For sure. Okay. And now, with you have been a serial entrepreneur, you done all this stuff. You got all these different businesses. I'm sure it can take a toll on your mental health.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
how do you manage the stress, the pressure? How you manage?
I mean, you got to decompress every day, man. So like one of the first things I like to do is before I really talk to anybody every single day in the morning, I like to just go and work out, you know, and I do something very simple. Like me and my brother, we'll go to the park, we'll walk up and down stairs 20 times. We'll do like 10 push-ups or something in between each set. And so by the time I'm done with that, my mind is just able to operate more freely. Like I feel like before that, I can't really think as clear, you know, and I feel like when you don't have clear thoughts, you don't make clear decisions.
Okay. We only we ain't even 20 minutes in, this man dropping all these gems. All right. So working out is essential. I keep telling y'all that. Justin LeBoy keep calling y'all big back. So this is another one. You want to clear your mind, you want to unbig your back.
Yeah.
Let's get to the gym or do some type of physical activity. Okay, so let's talk about how I got some research about how like saying what you said and standing on what you believe in and all that stuff can affect your mental health. So first, it can boost self-esteem. According to a 2019 study published in the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, sticking to one's belief and standing firm can significantly increase self-esteem. When you stand up for what you believe in, you reinforce your internal values and build a strong sense of self-respect. This can lead to higher self-esteem. And then the second one is improved self-confidence, which talks about how it comes from a psychologist named Albert Bandura and his theory of self-efficacy, which suggests that our belief in our capability to execute behaviors is necessary for specific outcomes. The third one I like is from Brene Brown, a renowned researcher on vulnerability and authenticity. She talks about how it promotes authenticity. And that's the main thing. Like, it's somebody that's going to like you for you. Maybe not everybody, but it's somebody that's going to vibe with what you're doing and whatever it is you're trying to sell. You know, so keep that in mind, people. And it also, she said, it also reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression. And this other one I like, it talks about, well, two more. So one says encourages healthy relationships. Honoring your personal beliefs can encourage healthy relationships, another crucial aspect of mental health. And it can promote honest communication and respect individual differences. Now, I like that one because I feel like sometimes, well, it can get on your nerves, but it's okay. It's healthy to disagree with people. And sometimes I feel like we at that age where it's too many people. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast. I feel as though there's too many people in my age range, your age range, that be like, it's one thing to stand on what you said, but like I said earlier, you can always come back and apologize if you was wrong or like I did it. But a lot of people are stuck in their ways. So before I go to this last one, what is your take on people being stuck in their ways? And do you know people are around people that are stuck in their ways?
Now I try to separate myself from people that stuck in their ways. And it's not because that I don't love them, but it's like when somebody's stuck in their ways, man, you can't change their mind. Like we all done heard that if you want to see change, you got to be changed, right? So unless they want to do the work and really want to change something, it really don't matter. You can tell them 1,000 times over, man. So, but I feel like when you when you kind of associate yourself with people a lot of times like that, it's also gonna force you to do that. Just like we all done heard like your life is a result of like the 5 people that you spend the most time around, right? So if you steadily spending your time with those type of people, it's gonna rub off on you eventually. And so I just try to I try to stay free of that altogether.
You know, it's crazy. I keep hearing that because like the 5 people you're around the most, because I ain't gonna lie, like my whole life, I feel like a lot of my closest friends, and I've always had different groups of friends, but like a lot of my closest friends, I feel like I've always been, and y'all, I'm not trying to start nothing, so please don't do that. But like I've always felt like I've been like the front runner. Like I was always, and no one ever stopped me. So like say for instance, if I'm the only one doing something, everybody want to drink and smoke all day, I'm gonna be like, I see y'all later. I'm finna go. I gotta go do this podcast interview. Like, oh, I'll meet y'all later on. I gotta do this podcast interview. But you get tired of sometimes being the only one. Like, I want to be in a group where I'm at the bottom, where I gotta try to keep up with y'all, versus me always being at the top. Because then if you at the top of the group, it's like, how can you grow?
It's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
So the last one forward says strengthens resilience. It says standing firm in your beliefs in the face of opposition can build resilience. A vital component of mental health. It says a 2017 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found a positive correlation between resilience and mental health, indicating that those who are resilient are more likely to recover from stressful or traumatic events. So all this entrepreneur stuff, you done been doing this for, have you ever worked a regular job?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where you work
at? My first job was at Waterway when I was 16.
Where is that at? That sounds familiar.
So we had one right down the street from my school. It was in Creve Coeur.
I remember. Okay, yeah. Did you graduate high school when?
2011.
Okay, I was 12. Okay, so it wasn't that far.
Yep.
All right. So you had a regular job. You've been resilient. Tell me of a time with your entrepreneurial journey that you wanted to quit. What traumatic event happened that made you want to quit? Because we all have one.
Man, I don't even. You know what, bro? The thing about it is, it's like, okay, I think the first time where I really had a real entrepreneur journey where it made me want to quit was my first love was music, right? So I had been making music since I was a young kid. Like I wrote my first song when I was like 7 years old. I think I started recording around like 8, 9 years old or something like that, right? And so I remember at one point when I dropped out of college, one of my main sources of income was actually recording people because I knew how to engineer sessions. So like I would record them. We would make beats for them sometimes. We edit the sessions, do all that type of stuff, right? And so it got to the point where we steady having people in the crib. I'm charging, this was probably 2012, 2013. I'm charging $15 an hour, you know what I'm saying, trying to run it up. But it's like, man, it's tiring as hell. Like it's making me lose my love for music and just lose my love even for wanting to do this in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that was probably like definitely the first time where I was like, God damn, like this ain't it. Like, man, I'd rather do something else because it's just like, you know, that game is pretty weird, man. People off all types of drugs. You got people damn near gonna fall asleep while they record. So I'm like, nah, bro, I got to do something else because it's not even making me want to make money like this right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. And with that, so did you ever have the people that was in there because you was dealing with all the stoners and all them people? Was it how was it dealing with like their attitude? Because I know some of them had them.
Man, the crazy part about it is I was pretty selective with the people that I used to deal with for the most part. But sometimes you would have them situations where it's just like, bro, I just can't wait for the session to be over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, we got a 2-hour session. Let's go ahead and make it through after that. I don't know if you can come back here, but we gonna make it through the session tonight.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So now you build companies in various sectors, y'all. So he told y'all he got finance, he got jewelry, got cannabis, and then he talked about real estate. So can you share the common threads you've identified across these different industries?
The common thread across these different industries, man, is really just like, I feel like when you do square business and you really trying to make sure that whatever product you put out is in the benefit of the person that's getting the product from you as well as yourself, I feel like you can never lose. And I feel like a lot of times, man, depending on where your mindset is at, if you're trying to get over on people, it don't matter what you're doing. You could be trying to sell waters on the street. But if you selling this bottle of water for $5 and people know they can go down the street and get it for $1, you can get a couple people. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is longevity. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like a lot of times I watch people crash out just because they either trying to get it too fast or they just don't, like what you spoke on earlier, that they don't have any integrity. And so when you don't have any integrity, when you're not really trying to guard your reputation, then eventually it's gonna come out and you're just gonna be exposed. It's gonna be over for you. And so like that's the main thing that I see across everything. Anytime that you do square good business, you always gonna see like an infinite return on it, basically.
Okay, good answer. And before we move to the next segment, I just want to kind of piggyback off that. Like, if you don't have integrity, it's gonna come out because you can only hide who you really are for so long. Mm-hmm. And again, if you are, I tell people all this time, like if you stand on what you said and what you do, right? If you're a hoe, own it. Don't make excuses. If you a scammer, I hate when you call people out. I don't know you, but I've called people out on being scammers, and they be like, "I ain't no scammer. I just work hard." Just say I'm a scammer.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Instead of making excuses for stealing, because that's what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna say we all ain't been there. We all probably might have been scammed one time. I mean, some of us lived the lifestyle and got out. Some maybe did it once, and but. It's just I just want people to just stand on their truth, and unfortunately I don't think people know how to do that. And
no, they don't, man. That's like one of the hardest things for people to do, though.
Yeah,
that's one of the hardest things for them to do.
So all right, so now let's move to the next segment, which is I challenge that, and we're about to kind of go against the grain here just for the debate of the show. So are there times when standing on what you said and saying something you shouldn't have said, standing on what you said, and doing something you shouldn't have been doing, or whatever has gone wrong? Yes. So if you have different views or have done something that people don't like, it can lead to isolation and even alienation. People can't ice you out. People can like, I don't want to be around this person like that. And is it hurtful? Absolutely. Especially if it's close family. I know in some cases, when we came down, especially to politics, me and my mama was talking about it, how like some people stop dealing with certain family members based on who they voted for. I don't think it's that serious, but if that's what makes you feel good, I've said most cases, my personal beliefs, I don't agree with a lot of these views on abortion or COVID. I don't care if you don't agree, that's fine. A real person can say, I don't agree with you, but and if you will, and certain people, I've seen people make posts like, oh, if you voted for Trump, I'm not your friend no more. If you're a supporter of gun control, I'm not voting for you. I'm not, going to be your friend. Cool. Okay. Now let's get into this other stuff, because that's deeper stuff. Let's talk about petty, because people petty, right? So what is it about when somebody being petty? So I'm gonna ask you about something, but I'm gonna put myself again on blast first. So now, say you in an argument with a friend, right? And you may say something out of anger, like, "Oh yeah, you ain't gonna ever hear from me again." I'm sure we've all said that. There's some of us who actually mean that. So have you ever been in a situation where you said something out of anger and your pride might have kept you from reaching back out, or you said like, "Oh, I'm not going to that," or "I'm not doing that," so and you actually stood on it?
Man, yeah, bro. It's like sometimes I be feeling like, or like asking myself, am I too cold? Because it's like, the thing with me is I'm not like quick to cut somebody off. You know what I'm saying? Or say that I'm done dealing with you. So it's like, once I actually do get to that point, it's really the point of no return. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't really have remorse for it, because it's like, man, I gave you multiple options. And it's like, I really feel like to be a part of my life is really a privilege, just because like, if you in it and I'm rocking with you, like I'm rocking with you. Like I stand on, like when you talk about like standing on everything that you say, like sometimes I even look at people differently when you tell me that you're going to do something and then you don't do it, especially when you're a man, right? And I'm one of them people that's like, man, look, if I tell you I'm going to be here, like how we was on this call, right? You say, hey, I need you here at 1:30. I'm on the call at 1:29, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I like to handle business. So it's just like, that's how I look at it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Like it might hurt somebody's feelings, but it just got to get done.
And even with that, I say, like, even with me, like, if you tell me I need you to do this at the time, my favorite line is, if I'm up in the air about it, I'm gonna say I'll see, because I don't know. But I mean, that's being honest versus me saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And if I say I'm gonna do it and I didn't do it, something happened.
Exactly.
You know. And I just think that. So again, when me putting myself on blast, when has this gotten me in a bind? Another time. So I remember I was in high school. I went to Lutheran North, and we had to do extra credit, and we had to go to this play. And so the rule was, you can't be on your phone, and you can't. We want y'all to really be engaged, and then come back with like the little pamphlet. So me clowning and being a troll, I had made a tweet, and it was a musical. And I said, how we in a musical, can't nobody sing? So one of the students seen it and then was showing it to everybody backstage. And one of the English teachers had seen it. So basically I basically went to the musical for nothing, because I'm not gonna sit here and say they couldn't sing, because I mean they could sing, but it was someone that was like, what we doing here? But and then they had to audition for it. So I'm thinking, dang, y'all must really ain't had nobody else. But I was just like, I got in trouble for that. And then I had went to the teacher, asked her about it. She was like, well, the rule was not to be on your phone. It wasn't even what you said. She's like, that wasn't okay. But the rule was you wasn't supposed to be on your phone, and you was on your phone because you tweeted. I'm like, all right. So yeah. All right, now let's go to some more facts. So how can the negative sides of, when you stand on something or do something? So rigidity, according to an article from Psychology Today, a psychological flexibility, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, can tolerate discomfort, and it is associated with a better emotional well-being. Conversely, being inflexible in one's beliefs can lead to stagnation and increased emotional distress. So kind of like we said earlier, when some people stand on what they said or stand on what they did, but from the angle of, I'm okay with getting high and drunk every day. I'm okay with starting a business and stopping every other week. I'm okay with going to the gym once a week, or going to the gym, lose 5 pounds, and then think, oh, I can eat Taco Bell again every day. And now you gain 15 after the 5 you lost. Some people are okay with that. I mentioned it briefly earlier. It says social isolation. A comprehensive review published in the journal PLOS Medicine found strong evidence linking social isolation with increased risk for mental issues, including depression and anxiety, which then transitions to the next one, which it says stress and anxiety. And then according to American Psychological Association, chronic stress, which can result from constantly defending your beliefs against opposition, can lead to serious mental problems such as depression, anxiety, and even physical health problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. So with that one, I got to highlight that point where it says constantly defending your beliefs against opposition. You have to be okay with just saying, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no.
Yep.
You do not have to always go into explanation mode. And I feel like I'm the type where if you ask, I may say why, but I depend on the situation. So I'm gonna put you on blast real quick. So tell me one scenario where you would defend something on your beliefs, like I'll defend that, and then something else where you might like, I'm not going back and forth. It's just it. That's it.
Man, the crazy part is those things change over the years.
They do, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's like things that I would like want to stand on and really try to teach somebody, have like a teaching moment, because it's like, you know how much information it is out here, man. We all feel like we got a piece of information that somebody else don't have, which that could always be the case. But that don't mean that you always got to share that information with them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's okay with just saying it and then letting it be what it is, and so I don't know, man, like as the times change, it's certain things that I'm just unwavering on, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like just the laws of nature, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things, things that don't change, those are the things that I'm just kind of unwavering on, where it's like, man, look, I'm not gonna argue with you about this. Like this is, it is what it is. I can give you a whole pamphlet on what it is, but other than that, what are we really talking about right now?
Right.
And so it's like, what you even brought up with like the high blood pressure and all that stuff, man. Like I remember when I was younger, like my grandma always used to tell me, like, man, you gotta you got to calm down. Like, don't be snapping too much because you don't want your blood pressure to be too high, you know? And so it's like, the older I get, I'll be realizing it's like, man, look, a lot of things I don't want to do too much talking about because it's like time and time again, no matter what I involve myself in, it's like I'm showing and proving, you know? So it's like, it's not too much talk that I have to do. It's like, look, all you got to do is look at the results of my actions, the results of my life. And it's like, that's all you need to look at, you know? And so it's like, whatever I can say is just in addition to that. But it's like, man, if you ain't walking what you're talking, it don't matter.
And so do you feel that everybody in your circle and that you kind of network with are kind of on that same page?
Absolutely. You know, and so that's why I love those mentorships, because it's like, not only are you paying for the information, but you also paying for the network too, you know? And so it's like, it's so many different types of people, you know what I'm saying, that I meet in these mentorships where it's like, man, they from this background, they can help me with this, I can help them with that. It's almost like you elevating yourself, because it's like, now I have all of these different resources that I could just go to my phone, I can pick it up, I can call somebody, I can text somebody, you know, and they everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not just in St. Louis, it's not just in Atlanta where I lived for a long time, it's not just in Detroit, it's like everywhere, not even just in the US, all over the world. And so that's why I feel like that's almost like a cheat code, man. Like the mentorships, I always tell people, they like, if I got $10,000, like, what you think I should do with it? Invest it in yourself. I ain't finna tell you go buy real estate. I ain't gonna tell you to go buy cryptocurrency, none of that stuff. Like, you need to invest it in yourself. Like, the more that you can build up your mind and your brain, like, you just more valuable as a person. And so I feel like a lot of people try to look for like the outwardly stuff that they can do with their money, but it's like, nah, if you invest it inwards first, then you can just multiply it infinitely.
Right. And so that kind of leads to my next point, which before we move to the next segment, which we talked about how networking has been a crucial part in your role in your success. And so when you talked about networking with people across the country, not just the country, across the world. And so what are some of your strategies? So one of them you mentioned is mentorships. That's kind of like an easy way.
Absolutely.
What's another strategy you got?
Outside of that, man, just kind of like going to local meetups. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you can join the mentorships, but it's like, whatever you want to do, whatever field you in, a lot of times they have some type of local meetup, especially like when you're in these major cities. And so it's just kind of like figuring out, outside of the mentorships, what type of networking groups are going on inside your city or somewhere near you. You know what I'm saying? Social media also plays a big part too, just because, like, depending on what your social media presence is, you will always attract all types of people. And so, like, I'd have met a bunch of people just through that. Like, we became like actual real life friends just from starting off talking on social media and stuff. And so it's like, I feel like it's really a lot of different avenues, but you got to put yourself out there. Like, if you just kind of like staying away from everybody, like, you just chilling at the crib, and I mean, like, nobody's coming to look for you. Nobody's coming to save you. Like, you got to get out there and make some shit happen, man. Like, if you just don't sit on the couch, I mean, that's cool, but you better have your own motion. If you doing something where you need to know people, you got to get out there and know people.
No, when you kept saying sit on the couch, you could think about that commercial. Sit on the couch, waiting on your time to go.
No, for real, bro. But it's real life though.
And that's crazy because since high schools, again, this story time today for real. So I remember back in the day, and you know, because you're from St. Louis and you ain't that much older than me. So you know, back in the day, like in high school, everybody on St. Louis used to like add, you didn't even know the people, but you would just add everybody just throughout the city, you know,
who
you heard of and all that stuff. So I remember I was strategic because I wanted to be at the events, and then I started being, and it started to work. So I used to add a whole bunch of people on Facebook, and I always been funny. Now I keep telling y'all, that was because now if you follow me on Instagram, it's, you know, _ Easy Bake Oven. But back in the day, I was Open Casket Sharp on Twitter and stuff. And so, and of course, Facebook, it was Easy Baker. But, you know, I'll say this, and if you know, you know, Open Casket Sharp and Easy Bake Oven, two different menaces. Them Open Casket Sharp was I mean, I'm still a menace, but it was terrible. So what I would do was I would add all these people on Facebook that I knew was like them names, you know, and I would add them on Facebook, and then I would start saying the most outlandish, funniest stuff I could think of. and it would catch eyes. And so when it caught eyes, I would just start like commenting on their stuff. They would start commenting on mine, and we start just having chats on Facebook. And then they'd be like, "You cool?" You know, these to be honest games. And they'd be like, "To be honest, you hella funny. You needed it." I'm like, "Yeah, we need a link. Oh, having a party this weekend. You want to call?" And I would do stuff like that. And then it got to the point where everybody was like, "How you know everybody?" I said, "I'm just cool." So definitely that. My friend, before I move to the next segment, I just want to say that too. My friends they be trying to make fun of me because I always be like, "You always got pen pals on social media," and I was just like, and they'll say stuff like, "I'm too scared to talk to people online. People weird." I mean, yes, weirdos, but that's you got a block button because I keep telling y'all that vanish mode come on, you gonna vanish. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's move into the weekly sabbatical. And as we know, this is our time to kind of just reflect on some things. And so before I go into some questions with you, I have to ask this question. We did the definition of truth earlier. The opposite of truth is if you're not telling the truth, you're telling a lie.
Yeah.
How do you deal with liars?
Bro, it's hard for me to deal with liars. I think it's like one of those things when you tell the truth all the time, it's really hard for me to just deal with them at all because it's like, man, with a liar, I wouldn't believe you if you told me that the sky was blue. Even though I know that to be the truth. It's just like once you got that reputation with me, I don't believe nothing that come from you now. So it's like it's really no point of me associating myself with you. You know what I'm saying? Like lying is probably like one of those things where like it really irked my soul because it's like I feel like you're scared of me if you lying to me. And you ain't got no reason to be scared of me. So why are you lying to me?
Right. No, for sure. So now, being from St. Louis, and then you didn't move back, even though you still all across the world, you global. Before you moved out of St. Louis, did you have that mindset of like, man, I need to get out of St. Louis?
Yes, definitely.
Do you plan on moving again?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm probably be out here by the end of the year, if not sooner, maybe in the next few months.
Okay, I didn't know because sometimes I had this one home girl. She kind of had this epiphany where she was the main one. I'm still like this. I don't care, but she was the main one. Like, yeah, I gotta get out of St. Louis. I gotta get out of St. Louis. And then she had made a long dramatic post on Facebook and was like, we always be ready to leave, but St. Louis is home. And I had that revelation, so I'm happy to be moving back.
I mean, the crib is a crib, man. I always love St. Louis, but it's like for what I want to do, it's not the best location for me. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we was talking about the real estate. It's like I'd rather go somewhere where a lot of people moving there. It's a lot of money moving around. Like it makes more sense for me to be doing it down there. Even though I already do, you know what I'm saying? I own some land here. I'm about to cop some more property out here too. But it's like St. Louis is a slower city. It's more so like a 20, 30-year plan,
For sure. Okay, so now I gotta get a little messy here because I just when I saw something about you, I was like, let's get into it. So you graduated from DeSmet.
Yep.
Prestigious. You then got a full ride to Morehouse.
Yep.
All black HBCU in Atlanta. I went to Texas Southern, graduated from Texas Southern, so we got the HBCU thing going on. You dropped out your second year.
Yep.
Why?
YouTube. The power of YouTube. Like the crazy part about it is it's like I was really always one of those people where I was on the fast track like since I was young, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm 29, I'll be 30 in September, right? So it's like even with school, I started school a year early. And so like I was always one of them people where I was just like super inquisitive. Like I just want to know what's going on. And so it's like once I got to school, originally I wanted to become a radiologist. So that's why I majored in chemistry, right? What I realized was like, okay, I'm really just doing this because of the amount of money that I want to make from it. It's not because I really want to do this. Like I got the brain power to do it, but I don't really want to do it. Like I'm not passionate about it. Like I don't love it enough to actually see it all the way through, right? And so my sophomore year came, I had switched my major over to business just because like I had an entrepreneur spirit since I was like super young, whether it was selling candy or cutting grass, shoveling snow. You know how it goes in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And so I got to just learning so much stuff on YouTube. I'm like, bro, what the hell am I doing sitting here in class? Like, I'm not, I'm learning all these different ways I could be making money over here. So why am I just sitting in this classroom feeling like I'm wasting away, basically? And so it's like, I think what I really started to realize was once I identified what money was, and money wasn't the actual end goal, freedom was the end goal. I think that kind of like separated my mind from wanting to just take the traditional route, get my degree and get a job and do X, Y, Z. I was just like, nah, it's way more to this than what meets the eye. And so it's like, man, I got on YouTube, call it the rabbit hole, whatever. But I always feel like I'm probably like one of the inaugural graduates of YouTube University. You know what I'm saying? Because this was like 2012, 2013 that we was on this. And so that's like, it's crazy. That's 10 years later now. It's 2023 now. But it's just a wealth of knowledge. And once I started to tap into it, it's like I'm learning so much more information that I can actually go apply to my life on here than what I'm learning actually in this classroom.
And I, you know me, look, I get it. You know, I just got to play devil's advocate because it's like you was ahead of your time. So I got to give you kudos for that. You was a pioneer. But it's kind of like, dang, me had graduated from HBCU. It's like, dang, you already lit. You know how much litter you would have been if you had that. I graduated from Morehouse, which is, I ain't gonna say no HBCU is more prestigious than the next, but that's one of them ones. When they hear that, they like TSU, to me, Texas Southern, not the fake one. Texas Southern just really, to me, started to get up there maybe towards my last days there because people had heard of it, but it wasn't until like 2016 when people was really like, oh, you know. And so even with that, it just would have been like, you know, you made a decision and you had to stand on it. So now.
But hold on. Let me make a side note real quick. What's crazy about that is like, even though I didn't graduate, like the Morehouse brotherhood is deep. You know what I'm saying? Like they always treated me as one, you know, and it was like one of those situations where it's like, I'm not necessarily trying to get a job with this regardless. So it's like, I'm one of y'all brothers. I could talk to you about it all day long, from the food hall to Woody, where we was on the library for that whole AUC campus. Like I tell you about everything, but it's like, I just chose a different route. That's it. But the love was always there. That was something that I always appreciated.
Yeah, and that's good too. Because, you know, they could have like kind of, we talked about earlier, the whole isolate you thing. They could have iced you out and just been like, oh, yeah, I kind of remember you knowing they know who you are. Yeah. And I mean, because you still doing something and at least you was there for a little bit of time. But the only reason I was really pushing you for, because I'm the same with school. I'm, you know, even though I finished, obviously, and ain't been a teacher all these years. But I'm still like, you know, hey, school ain't for everybody. It is what it is. But I just would have been like, dang, just thug it out because it's a full ride. Like, people still gonna be paying their loans to their last day on this earth, and you had a full ride. Like, you could have just coasted out. Cause C's get degrees. You could have just coasted it out, took advantage of all the free housing, the free food. That's how I looked at it. But
look, C's get degrees, but they don't keep full rides.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you see, I ain't got no full ride.
They gonna snatch that from you. Your GPA your GPA get too low. It's over with.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now you chose to make that decision. It's good that the Morehouse people were still holding you down. I know you faced criticism and doubt from others. Oh yeah. How did you deal with that? And how did you stand on those decisions despite the challenges and the potential consequences?
Man, initially it's one of those things where it's like whenever you leap into anything, you know, you always gonna get criticism. So it's like if your mind is made and your conviction is strong enough and your gut is telling you that's what you need to do, you're just gonna have to do it, you know? Like, so whether it's dropping out, whether it's taking that first step in your new career, whether it's whatever the case is, like you just kind of got to make that decision. And like once you do it, just kind of live with the consequences. Especially if you feel like you're not making a decision where it's like, damn, like my life is over, you know? I feel like just go for it.
Okay. So you mentioned briefly, but I know about your whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies kind of thing. That's something my parents are kind of getting into. I'm still kind of confused about it. I'm just not the best with numbers. But Can you tell us how you've handled the ups and downs of this market and how it changed your views on business risk, since we already talking about risk anyway?
Yeah. So like my relationship with Bitcoin is in 2016, man. I was buying Bitcoin when it was like $1,000, right? And so I remember at that time, like that whole year going into that summer 2017, I was telling everybody you need to buy Bitcoin. This thing going to at least $10,000. I was telling them that when it was still only $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. And you had a couple people that kind of hopped onto it. But I mean, I remember in the winter of 2017 when Bitcoin had hit $10,000, like I told people, literally a year later, I could not get my phone to stop ringing. And I mean, it was just so much weird stuff going on from people that I knew for a long time, like asking me how much money I had made, all types of stuff. I'm like, bro, that's some weird shit, because I don't ask you how much you make at your W-2. So why you asking me, you know, what I'm doing over here, bro? That's not cool, you know? And I think the main thing that I learned with that is, man, like with cryptocurrency or any type of other markets, there's so many different cycles where the best plan is just to buy and hold it for as long as you can, as long as your tolerance can. Because we're talking about Bitcoin right now currently floating around like 28,000 for one of them. And we're talking about something I bought originally at $1,000. At one point it got up to damn near $70,000, right? And I still got strong conviction that Bitcoin is gonna go to $100,000 one day, you know. And so it's like, it's one of those things, man, with anything, the longer that you can just buy, put your money in there and let it sit, you're gonna win. But it's like, don't get so caught up in, listen, I done made money from trading options, from doing all types of stuff, and that's cool as far as like right now money, but the play is always the long-term play. That's how you're gonna have the least amount of stress and you're gonna see the biggest return. Just put your money in there and let it sit.
Yep, and as we see, y'all, this whole episode, he didn't stuck by stuff. He didn't stood by everything. And from the stories we heard, I'm sure some he leaving out, but I'm sure from the stories we heard, it was one of them. I'm trying to tell y'all now. He stood by it. We saw a harvest from it. Of course, in reality, as a person, he not perfect. So I'm sure it was some stuff he might have stood by or said that didn't. But this is the good example of somebody who did it, stood by, and we get to see it. So nobody else give you your kudos. I do. I give you your flowers while you alive.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate that.
Dead, and then it'd be too late.
Definitely.
All right. So say you the young millennial, say you the person who you don't really know how to. Maybe you are a people pleaser, because I used to be a people pleaser probably many moons, not probably, but many moons ago. And when I got free, I was thankful, because when I got free, it was
man, bro, that's like that's like one of the biggest chains on people today, is trying to like please everybody and trying to save everybody. Like that was one of the things that I learned quickly after I dropped out of school, was that I can't save everybody. And not only can I not save everybody, I don't want to save everybody. You gotta, and even deeper than that, bro, you can't save nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like what I said earlier in the episode. Like, they gotta want to save themselves. Like, you, of course, you want to offer help to people, especially when you love them. But it's like, unless they take the necessary steps to save themselves, it's not gonna happen. And so once you come to that reality, you're gonna stop draining yourself, because people will literally drain you until you have nothing.
For sure.
Absolutely. They will leave you on empty, and guess what? When you need a refill, they ain't gonna have it for you. Nope. I don't care what you done did for them. It's people like that in life, and it's like, you gotta be okay with that, and you just live and you learn from it.
Absolutely. So for the people pleasers out there, the whoever who struggle with trying to be at peace, and you know, you want to get to the point of, I want to stand on something, or you know, do something and not care what people think about me, and stand on it even if it's wrong. I got a few tips for you and ways to go about it. So the first one is know your values and beliefs, and this comes from a blog called How to Stand Up for What You Believe In. And it talks about, it's crucial to understand what you believe in and why. So that's the main thing, understanding what you believe in and why you believe in it. And then this is the self-understanding forms the backbone of your courage to stand up for your beliefs and decisions. And the more you understand your beliefs, it's easier for you to defend them. The second one is practice assertiveness. We did a whole episode of assertiveness last season, but just a real short thing right here. It says from the journal article titled Assertiveness and Assertiveness Training. Let's be unambiguous. In the Australian Psychologist Journal, assertiveness training can be a powerful tool, can help you express your thoughts and feelings and needs in a respectful, confident manner. And it can also help you with maintaining good relations, because if people know they can run over you, they will. I don't care. It could be your mama. If she knows she can run over you, she will.
It's a fact.
Build emotional resilience. From 7 ways to build emotional resilience. It says that emotional resilience can help you manage criticism and backlash. He dropped out of a full Morehouse, a prestigious school, with a full ride. If he
so imagine
the criticism he was getting, and then he was having conversation with people who he knows was probably talking about him when he wasn't around. And then it was before YouTube University was YouTube University, because this
exactly
2012, 2013. That was my freshman year of college, so I wouldn't. That was way before.
Yeah.
The 5th one, I'm just not gonna go full in details with it. Or the 4th one, I mean, is because it's kind of cultivate self-confidence, and this is from 10 powerful ways to boost your self-confidence. So keep that in mind. Y'all can go look up that one, because I mean it's kind of self-explanatory in a sense. But the last one, which kind of piggybacks off everything he been preaching, seek mentorship. From the journal article titled "Mentoring Millennials in a Journal of Business and Psychology," a mentor who aligns with your values has been through similar experiences and can provide advice, reassurance, and perspective. As we said earlier, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody already did it for you. They can support you and navigate the consequences of standing by your decisions or beliefs. In the world we live in, whatever you trying to do, somebody did it. So, and somebody teaching a class on it. I made the comment about being a hoe earlier. I'm sure some hoe classes out here. So
definitely, you can learn how to do anything.
If that's what you want to do it. And it's that. So before we move into the final segment, I just have to ask, as you look back on your journey, of course, your life's not over. You still got many more things to accomplish. If there was one piece of advice you could give to aspiring entrepreneurs on how to maintain their mental health while chasing their dreams, what would it be?
Take time for yourself every day. If you're working every day, you need to take time for yourself every day. I feel like any time where I felt like I was super stressed out from just trying to run my businesses is because I was giving too much time to my business and to, my clients or whatever. And I wasn't giving any time to myself at all. And people don't realize, man, with stress, it can affect so many different things. I'm talking about at one point, I remember I was gaining like a bunch of weight, like 30 pounds or something, like in a short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I'm making money. And I feel good, but it's like my body is not feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just running, but I'm not taking any time to like really look out for Mike. Like I'm looking out for everybody else. Y'all making money, we making money, which is cool, but it's like mentally I'm not where I need to be.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. So finally, let's move into the last segment, which is game time. And the game is, I'm glad I said it, or I wish I didn't. I'm going to name a few scenarios, and I want you to tell me whether or not you glad you said it or you wish you did it. Now, either way, he going to stand on what he did, but it's either like, man, I probably shouldn't have said that, but oh, well.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one, telling your girl she looked fat when she asked.
I'm glad I said it.
Okay. All right.
Glad I said it.
Telling somebody their baby wasn't cute when they asked.
Not happy to say that.
Okay. Investing in cryptocurrency and then the market crashed.
Glad to say it. Might hurt, but glad to say it.
All right. Beefed out with a family member not going to the family reunion after you told them in the heat of the moment you wasn't going.
Damn. Damn. Nah. I can't. Can't say it. Can't say it. Can't say it and be all right. Certain things, man, it's like you say it, but you want to come back and at least mend it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you might not be able to change the situation, like when it comes to like family, people that you really love, it might not ever be the same, but I think it's worth saying something.
All right, last one. Dropping out of Morehouse to go to YouTube University.
Glad I did it. Glad I did it.
All right. let's end up with the question, the challenge. Remember, y'all win money when y'all do this. Tell me a time when you did something or said something you had to stand on. I'm sure everyone has had them. I know I have them all the time. I might have one today because, you know, I be getting people be trying to come for me on YouTube now. So that means we're going in the right direction. All right. This has been a great conversation. I knew it was going to be. Anything you got to say to the people before you dip?
I think the main thing I would say, man, is kind of like always keep your heart in the right place with whatever you're doing. If your intentions is not in the right place, you don't need to be doing anything at all. Like, you just need to sit still until you figure out what you can do intentionally that's gonna be productive. I think that's probably the best advice I can give anybody.
All right. So before we go, I have to tell you, next week, I meant to say earlier, but I forgot. Next week is the start of the mid-season series, the podcast album industry plant. We got some people on there that I'm surprised I got on there. All I did was reach out and I was like, let's do it. So they ain't even charge me no they'll feature. So it's some people on there, like, it's interesting to see. Some you don't know, some you might be like, dang, how you get them? I told you, all I did was ask. And we're talking about being planted, being rooted. We go through the episodes. It's kind of telling a story from seed form to the final form of a plant and the reproduction. So it's going to be, of course, deep. It's going to talk about from not despising small beginnings all the way to when you finally get to that harvest season or whatever your harvest is. So be prepared. It's going to be 11 weeks. So yeah, it's 11 weeks. So good stuff. And I'm going to be back in the studio starting next week. Not the whole time, but, you know, next week for sure. And I got a good one for that. So that's all I got. This is a great episode. Thank you again for pulling up on me. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And I love us for real.